hear it. So. Not yet. So, this is going to be, I'm going to start off with a little presentation, and hopefully it's not too long, but it's actually from the US, one of their products. And so, and then we're going to go through areas so that we can work through discussions and how to have a discussion, what to think about, what to consider when you're thinking about whether we can actually do something, whether it's partisan or not partisan or somewhere in between. And so we're going to work through these different scenarios, and everybody's going to get a chance to participate. So this is not just, hopefully it's not going to be just one person up there talking at you a long time. It's not going to be that. It's going to be a discussion. Okay. So let's see, but I am going to start with some boring preludes. Okay. There is a medicine I normally take, and I forgot to bring it this morning, so I had to wait for my heart rate to go down just a second. Okay, so I'm going to start off with the League of Women Voters of Hays County. It's proud to be nonpartisan, neither supporting or opposing candidates or political parties at any level of government, but always working on vital issues of concerns to members and the public. So that's our basic stance, right? And so this comes from navigating nonpartisanship in a divisive political climate. No. At our core, nonpartisanship is not just a policy, it's a bedrock principle that defines who we are at the League of Women Voters. As membership organization committed to empowering voters and defending democracy. Woo! Everybody. We do not support or oppose political parties or candidates. And I don't normally just say candidates, I normally say political candidates. Because you might be a candidate for something that's not a political thing. So I always say political candidates. You always say whatever you want. Our focus has always been and will continue to be on the issues that matter to our communities, ensuring fair elections, protecting voting rights, strengthening our democratic institutions. In today's increasingly polarized political environment, however, questions sometimes arise about what nonpartisanship truly means, especially during the election season and once elected officials are actually in office. So there's the election season, which is kind of like this whole next year. And then once elected officials are already in office. So when candidates are running for office, our nonpartisan stance is clear and firm. We do not endorse or oppose any candidate or political party. So it's like the third time I mentioned. Through our state and local voter guides, vote website, the League worked tirelessly to solicit and gather answers from tens of thousands of candidates around the critical community questions. There we go. There you go. For example, questions about voting rights, climate change, reproductive rights, resource management, and a wide array of topics that help voters decide on which candidate reflects their values and community needs. And while we may provide voters with information on where candidates stand on issues through the voters guide and through candidate forums, we work to ensure every eligible voter has access to the ballot. Our goal is to empower voters with facts and not just tell them who to vote for. Now going on elected officials. Once individuals are elected, they are no longer candidates. They are public servants. They're responsible for representing all of their constituents, regardless of party. Holding elected officials accountable to the public interest is not a partisan act. It is a vital function of a healthy democracy. You are holding them responsible because that's what they chose to do by running for office. When we advocate for or against policies based on our mission and values and our positions, hold up that one. Hold on. This is the League of Women Voters U.S. positions. There's Texas positions, and oftentimes there's local positions. So I'm just saying, there is a lot. I'll show you back. Just a second, I lost my place. We're doing so from a commitment to issues and strengthening civil institutions, not out of an allegiance to a political party. We meet and engage with elected officials across the political spectrum to administer elections, support elections, provide critical updates and insights on how election administration works, and how to get engaged in civics in your community. We are pushing for action on voting rights, democracy protection, and other key areas without favor or bias. Being nonpartisan is our strength. I could go up and talk to anybody. I don't care what party they're in. I just don't. I will go up as long as I'm supporting our positions with that person. We are nonpartisan. We are not neutral. Nonpartisan does not mean neutral. Remaining nonpartisan does not mean staying silent. When democracy is under threat, when voter access is restricted, when misinformation spreads, we have a responsibility to speak out clearly and forcefully. Our nonpartisan commitment strengthens our voice, allowing us to advocate for fundamental rights and freedoms without being seen as beholden to any political agenda. So many issues today are framed in partisan terms that it can feel impossible to communicate at all without being accused of taking a side. If you believe this, you must be a progressive. If you oppose that, then you are aligned with the conservatives. Being painted into ideological corners because of our stance, our organization, our members take, is not a new phenomenon. That's a hard word to say. I had to practice it several times. Phenomenon. But it continues to be one that undermines a vibrant democracy. Discussion, discourse, listening to other points of view are what makes our democracy work. Issues are not partisan. Issues are not partisan. The League's advocacy work is issue-based, and we arrive at our positions based on, wait a second, careful study and input from our members. That's what the program is. In communities across the country, and we never derive our positions from politicians. Even when candidates or parties support the same issues, we never endorse them. Issues may evolve over the years, but our allegiance will always be first and foremost to the voters. And if a party changes its position, which that doesn't mean the League has to change our position to remain neutral. Even within the parties, they have different ideas. They don't all take the same stance. And one politician taking a similar position to the League on any one issue does not make the issue or the League partisan. However, in this hyperpartisan environment, political connections and assumptions are made that simply aren't accurate. Supporting the democratic processes of registering eligible voters and casting and counting ballots is seen by some as subverting one political party. Even these are sacred tools of our democracy. Likewise, empowering voters who previously have been left out of the process and supporting anti-racism does not mean we are in alliance with one ideological segment of the American government. Rather, it means we are doing what we are founded to do, to stand up for what is right. Wanting every eligible voter to have equal access to the ballot box is not partisan. Wanting a robust democracy in which everyone has equal voice and equal representation is not partisan. Wanting to see more elected officials that reflect the diverse makeup of our country is not partisan. It is American. No party has a claim to any particular issue. Sometimes a candidate or political party agrees with our position. They may even champion that position, but that doesn't make the issue or the league partisan. We have seen an evolution of popular support and public opinion shift on issues over time, and the league has reevaluated and shifted priorities, but we never have compromised values. Though sometimes, but not often. Okay, so what we're going to do, so that is the very beginning, just to put everybody in alignment on what we're talking about today, which is how to be nonpartisan in this political environment right now. So now we're going to go over a perhaps scenario that you might or might not be familiar with, or I just made it up. And I'm going to hand you out these. Only read the first one, okay? Because we're going to see how long it takes to go through them. And I've just given it several scenarios. And it'll be fun and we'll have a good time, and it's about discussion. One thing, while y'all are passing that out, I'm missing one page. Like this. Yes. So while y'all, so it's just one for each table. I'm sorry, but I'll read it out loud. I'll read it out loud to you. We're going to do the first one together, and then we'll see how it goes. But first, before we get started, I'm going to give you a couple of community norms for how we work together as a group. Okay. First, bring your full self and limit distractions. That means turn off your phone, as far as I can tell. I'm encouraging us to have a dynamic discussion. What is learned here leaves here. Please take what you learn here and share it with others. No one knows everything, but together we know a lot. Don't yuck my yum. If someone is expressing passion about something, please don't put them down. They're passionate about it. Let's encourage one another and one another's energy and momentum. So don't put other people's ideas down. Oops, ouch, and educate, and assume best intentions. We like to assume that everyone is coming here with best intentions and doesn't intend to offend or harm anyone. However, we're all human and make mistakes. So, oops, recognize that you might have made a mistake. Ouch, recognize you may have hurt someone or made them feel bad. And educate. When we educate ourselves and one another, we work to minimize repeating those mistakes, to show up in a way that is more inclusive of everyone's ideas. So I just wanted to go over those community norms, and then we're going to start the discussion. Let me read it out loud just a second. Okay, I'm going to read over the first scenario. We're going to do this one together. Can I talk a little louder? I can hold it up closer to my mouth, like I'm supposed to. Okay. The first scenario. Ready? We're going to work through it together, and then we're going to do some other, depending on how long it takes. I think I have 6 of them. During the election season, county commissioners, this has not been edited. I'm just saying there's probably a comma supposed to go there. Don't look for spelling errors. Some who are running for office during the election season, county commissioners, some who are running for office, share that they plan to remove polling places at a local college. Might sound familiar. And so I have 3 different ideas. We're just gonna go over them. So the League of Women Voters, Hayes County, this is one stand. The League of Women Voters, Hayes County cannot take a stand in opposition to this because the county judge and several of the county commissioners are running for office. Does anybody have any comments on this one? The League of Women Voters, Hayes County cannot take a stand on the fact that they're going to remove polling places at the local college because those county judges, the county judge and several of the county commissioners are running for office. Yes.
I would put,
Oh, wait. Do we have it?
I would just say they're acting in the public servant when they're making that decision, not as a running commissioner.
Not because of, so she said that they are acting as an elected official, a public servant. And so that we could take action because they are not saying this as as a candidate. They are actually a public servant. Does anybody have any comments? Anybody else? All right, the next statement is the league. Yes, Linda?
I would hate to meet with the league members that I know sitting in here and do nothing.
If y'all can speak up and I'll just say it in the microphone of what it is somebody said that I heard and I can repeat it in the microphone. So even if you're in the back, if you want to say something, just let me know. Okay? Here's another one. The League of Women Voters, Hayes County, reviews the position, hold up the book. Citizens, hold that one for me. Citizens' right to vote. It's underneath voting rights. And makes a press statement in opposition to removing the polling places from the local college. And names the members of the commissioners court and the judges and the judge who supported the removal of the campus polling place. Are y'all okay with that? Anybody have any comments? So when they're talking about moving the college, yeah.
We didn't have to name them. We could just talk about principle.
That's true. That's very true. So her idea is you don't have to name them. You could say commissioners court and not name out the actual elected officials who are supporting that. Does anybody else have any ideas? Yes.
College, a university is a neighborhood. But the students do not live on campus. Well, some do. So a lot of the students live in other neighborhoods and communities around the area. So a lot of them are voting in their home city or voting district. And some of them are voting, have changed their voting to here. So I can understand the thought in some way that the university is not a neighborhood. It's not necessarily where these students live. They're going to have to be able to go in the neighborhood where they live.
So what Carol is saying is that because the students may not live on campus, they may not need to have a polling place on campus. That was just her thought. Yes.
Well, having been on a college campus with 6,000 students who live on the campus, that's about double the size of Winterly that has 4 or 5 polling places. But the one place, the college campus with more people than that, only has 1. I think you have to look at the equities about how do we serve voters most effectively. And if you have people who spend 8 to 10 hours a day in a location, that is a community. And just like they might spend that time in Winter, or they go to work in San Marcos or someplace else. That's their home base for the neighbor connections, where you look at what are the organizations that tie them to that area, as opposed to just where they work, or even if they live someplace else, but in the town, you know, a lot of folks to live
And also, if you read the citizens' right to vote, it talks about making voting acceptable to voters. And they are a group of voters who spend most of their time on campus. And that is where they would like their polling place to be. So, yes,
So in that scenario, or, right, did you mention that the officials were candidates?
yes, I think so.
Good.
It's the election season. Some are running for office. But the county commissioners board is the one who's bringing it up, trying to shut down a polling place on campus. Yeah, so this is interesting because it's two different things. We're talking about nonpartisan, how to ensure we're staying nonpartisan, and also that we use our positions and support voters in our community. Yes,
It doesn't really have as much to do with the candidates and whether we should support them or not, as it does have to do with voter access and voting.
right.
And I think that's the core of the ASU here.
Very good. That's all very good ideas.
And in Houston, if you remember a few years ago, they had polling places that were so far apart that people couldn't get to them. And that big city. I don't know if y'all remember. And so it's almost like a gift card when it's how it's happening.
And that's what the league is in communities for, is to make it to ensure that all voters have access to voting in each election, that all voters, especially communities that have been suppressed. One of the communities are college students, since they can't use their college voter ID to vote with. So I'm just bringing that up. And so we're working on that. And then Harris County has had a very interesting election administrator for a while.
In San Marcos, we have a thing where you can vote anywhere.
Yes, we have county-wide voting. It's very nice. Not the league has been supporting that, and yeah, it's very good. Wait until we get to the next scenario. Just say it. Okay. So we'll just go through this one really quick. The League of Women Voters reviews the LWV U.S. position, Citizens' Right to Vote, and provides testimony in opposition to the removal of the county campus polling place. Okay, now just to continue that same scenario, the League, okay, okay, the League of Women Voters, Hays County, I'm just pretending, create an email campaign directed to the county judge and the county commissioners. The goal of the email campaign is to stop the removal of the county polling places. The league works quickly to develop an email campaign encouraging students to share their personal story about voting on campus. The emails will come directly from the individual students. Okay. The League of Women Voters, Hays County, I'm just pretending, partners with local student organizations to share the email campaign. Some of the local student organizations have endorsed candidates for the election. What are your thoughts? The email campaign will come as the league is encouraging folks to send emails to the county commissioner's court. But they will be coming from individuals, but they have to get the word out. So they're working with various student organizations, student government organizations. What are your thoughts? Yes.
There are plenty of nonpartisan student organizations partner with the league. And there are ways to get information out that allows other students to access the email campaign too. But I personally wouldn't directly provide that link myself as a link to those partisan organizations.
Okay. This is, so the issue with being, staying nonpartisan is that each league knows what is happening in their community. Each league knows if we, like we in the Austin area chose to do the No Kings event, we're going to go over that. And each league gets to make that decision whether they participate, who they participate with. So there's different ideas and it's just important to come up with a consensus of who you're going to work with for each individual thing. Does anybody else have any comments? I think it's a great idea. But choosing which organizations to share it out with is important. Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry, Linda.
Okay, I'm cheating a little bit. I've thought about some of these. But I think we ought to slice and dice that one a little bit more. Because essentially the students are the ones going to send the emails, right? And all we're doing is providing information to the students, some of which could go through the organizations that we would normally work with, which are the nonpartisan. But there are also partisan organizations. Now, I would be somewhat cautious here because I don't really want to be on the front page with some organizations. But on the other hand, if we're just providing information and just encouraging student action, I wouldn't be quite so nervous about whether they're partisan or nonpartisan. Push back on that one.
And what's interesting about that is you also have to think you're going to create a social media campaign, probably. You're going to get it out to everybody. So in that way, you'll be reaching people who are partisan or not partisan, doesn't matter. Every individual, if they're politically active, they understand what's going on. Even if they're not politically active, this is a way for them to participate in civics and share that they have power to get something done. Go ahead.
I guess my concern is, it's really, but, Governor Abbott this week said that he wants chapters and turning point in high school and college.
Yes.
And so, are they counting themselves as Christian only and not partisan? And would we want to be affiliated with an organization like that?
Yeah. So those are decisions that you get to make. Right. I'm not telling you what the answer is. Yes, ma'am. Say it one more time.
And wouldn't it be okay to join with a group that's the same as our position?
Who supports that position? If so, we're going to get to something else in just a second, but we're going to talk about that. But if so let's hold on that. So what she's saying is if we have a position and they have the same position and we're both fighting for the same thing, can't we join with them, even if they're a partisan organization? And what I'm going to say is we're going to go over that in a second. I hope we get to that. And it's called, I don't know, I can't remember. It's something about working with other, developing partnerships. It's a part of our Unite and Rise campaign. So let me get back with you on that. See which one I'm at. Okay. It might be this next one. Aha. Aha, it is this next one. So perfectly leads me into this next scenario. Are you ready? So there is an ICE protest going on in your community. Your league reviews impact on issues. Larry, hold up, impact on issues. Immigration, our stand on immigration, and decides to join the protest. There is concern that some of the organizations leading the protests are partisan organizations, which means they support, in some aspect, they support candidates, right? Or parties. And so your league decides to, the first idea, the League of Women Voters Hayes County partners with the organizations, whether they are partisan or not, and protest in opposition to the ICE campaign. And this is, and so I'm gonna let you talk, but I'm just gonna say that this is an issue. Remember in my statements before, this is an issue. We're not leading the coalition or we're not leading the partnership. We're joining in with this on this issue. We're not supporting candidates with this issue. They're not supporting candidates with this issue, but we're joining with them in fighting the inhumane treatment of immigrants. Okay. So does anybody want to talk about that, or shall I go through the other ones and we could chat a little bit more? Yes, sir.
Well, the difficulty here is that if there is a political party that is championing things that are opposed to what the league's principles are, and by the league standing up for its principles appears to be partisan.
Appears to somebody else to be partisan, but actually, sometimes it appears that maybe you don't want to do it, but it's not partisan.
Standing for free and fair elections, supporting voting rights, those are core little d democratic values, but they become big D democratic. But they are in opposition to what a whole other party seems to stand for.
At this moment, and it changes over time. We don't change over time very much because it's so difficult to come up with positions, but we have our positions, and all the positions are come up from our members, and they determine what our positions are. And some of these positions have been around since the 70s and 80s. So that's when we have developed those positions, and they've changed slightly over time, but pretty much that's who we are.
I think for me, it's perfectly opposing supporting the issues that we support. By supporting those issues, those particular issues are have become in the current political environment parts.
Right. The political, so he says that the issues have become partisan because the political, the Republicans and the Democrats have decided to make them partisan by making them important and having such a different view on them. And for this particular issue, we have a stand on it, and we support in issues on impact on issues, and we support the fair treatment of immigrants. But it's written down in there. You're much more eloquent than I can say. Go ahead, Larry.
I think this highlights why it's so critical. When we say we are for something, we say this is an issue that we have thought through the process, and the league stands for this issue.
Yeah. Yeah. So what he's saying is, when you say that you support the opposition to ICE in your communities, then you're saying what we need to say is we support this issue. We've studied it. This is what it is, and then I just copy it straight out of the book, what it says. I say, we support this. And then we go and take action if needed. Go ahead.
Anything that's being done by ICE is being supported by people who are in office, not necessarily candidates. So
But you could stand up and support those people in your community that are being impacted, their fathers, their families, having their jobs disrupted and making it so they can't stay in our community.
go around that by saying that when we do these issues, we have a consensus. Doesn't mean that every member.
Oh, yeah. That's right. You don't have to agree on all of our positions. And we're going to come up with a position here in a second. Sometimes you don't agree on it, and that's okay. You don't have to agree. And sometimes the actual local league doesn't have to agree on the position, but what they can't do is act against that position. You can't say something that is in opposition to what we stand for and what we've studied. Yes,
When you're
ma'am.
representing the league.
When you're representing the league, you can do whatever you want to in your private life, unless you're a member of the leadership team. Y'all have a certain
I don't know, we're going to questions about.
Yes,
Some of this, and you said about changing over time, things change over time. And you talk about points of, other points of interest. And now we're on immigration and the lead position, and then you mentioned that the lead position, some of them go back to the center. So
I think some of them go back farther than that.
On
but-
a year.
my question, or what I'm interested in finding out is what is the position, what is lead position in immigration? And when was that last reviewed by the league and brought it up?
Every year during program, you are called on, I don't know if the Texas League has sent out, most of the time leagues have a meeting and they ask for your feedback on what the LWV US suggested program is. And they also ask for feedback on the issues. So you're, read through, you could join that committee if you wanted to, read through this. And sometimes we do updates. We recently did an update to the immigration issue, but it was started, I think, in the 70s or 80s.
Online for everybody.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
I know, but it was recently updated, is what you said,
It was,
5 years or so.
yeah, but it wasn't updated by me, wasn't updated by the board. It was updated by the membership in their voting way. Yeah, it's very, I like the way the league does it. It's not always everything I agree with, but it's sort of, comes up through the membership. It's kind of cool. I like it. Very democratic. Where were we at? Wait, gotta find my place. All right, the other two, we're just gonna go through quickly so we can get to more. How are we doing on time? We're doing all right?
Laura, how
Are
are
we
you?
doing on time? Time? Doing okay?
5 more minutes.
5 more minutes. Rats. All right, so the other 3 ways you could handle, the other 2 ways you could handle it is the league takes no action, or the league encourages members and supporters to join the protest, but doesn't officially join the protest or make a statement. So they ask the league members not to wear their league shirts, not to wear their league stuff, and just go as an individual if they want to. So those are the different ways you could handle it as a local league. Yes, ma'am.
One more scenario.
One more scenario. Okay, ready?
I don't.
No. So we could have a scenario on political parties, another one on issues. We could go through true or false. Y'all want to do some true or false? Okay, true or false. We have. All right, this will be flash. True or false? All right. All right. Ooh, I see Marilyn is here. Ready? So we're gonna do true or false for the voters guide. You ready? All right, a candidate used profanity in his voters guide response. The league does not publish the candidate's response because they were horrified. True or false? Ready? Anybody think it's true? Yay. A candidate blames a political party for high grocery prices in her response to the voter guide question. The league removes the candidate's response. True or false? Okay. But she used the actual name of the party, right? So she's blaming a party. And there you come, and you can have issues with that. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. If it's sort of a general disparaging, that's okay. But if it's really specific and ugly, sometimes they'll take it out.
But there was a bit of a change with that, and obscenities are not allowed, but you can now talk if you're polite about the candidate for somebody else.
I'm not sure the most updated one, policies and procedures is online, so I just took it from what I could.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, all right, ready? A candidate shares rumors about his opponent in her voter guide response and names that other candidate. Is that allowed? Now, you can't state that person's name and then say that they're a pedophile. You just can't.
So what the candidate is saying.
Yes, but if they're lying,
Censoring the candidate.
you're censoring the candidate, you want to leave in enough information so that people can figure it out. But you also, one of the things we did, here's this next section, ready? The league emails that candidate with a reminder about the voter guide rules and offers the candidate an opportunity to reword his response.
Right.
Yeah, that's what we've done in the past, but you know,
Also, Grace, when we send out the initial.
yeah, the rules for the,
There are terms and conditions there.
they have to do, yeah, you.
That allows us to.
Don't argue with them. You just copy that, send it to them and say, you have 5 days to respond. Otherwise, it's going to be in print or you're going to take it out saying did not qualify. All right. The League of Women Voters corrects a misspelling in a candidate's voter guide response.
False.
False. We don't correct anything in their responses. We remove the section that has obscenity perhaps, but we don't correct grammar mistakes.
So you can take out obscenities, but you can't.
You can't, don't touch what they say, and sometimes it's horrifying, and you realize who you're gonna vote for depending on their grammar. Thankfully, I'm not running for office. You can't,
This is a problem.
yeah, you would say something. Okay, the next section, true or false, ready? Ready? Your league is active on social media. Susan. Determine if the league may or may not post the following. And please note that whatever statements I'm making have already kind of been approved by the league president, or the league president has said that the social media person can say this. So the league tags and calls on politicians. Tagging is something you do in social media. Calls on politicians to take action that aligns with our advocacy. We do that? Yeah. Yeah. They're your elected representative. You call on them and you tell them, you want this to happen. You want students to be able to vote on campus. The league quotes and shares a candidate's post during an election. It depends, actually, sort of depends on.
Is it on an issue or is,
It depends on if it's on an issue. If it's saying vote for me, probably not.
Right.
But if it's saying something about an issue that we support or oppose, then we could probably say something. Okay. Makes a statement that a political party is good or bad. He's good. He's bad. Would we do that? No, we wouldn't do that. Makes a statement that an action taken by a political party is supposed or supported or opposed by the league. That an action taken by a political party is supported or opposed.
An issue, that is.
An issue. A statement that an action or issue, an action on an issue.
Yeah. Yes.
Then we could say,
Absolutely on.
yeah, as long as you're factual, this party says this. We support that. That's fine. Could be fine, depending on your league. Makes a statement that includes a party's name when imposing an action they take. It's on an issue, so makes a statement that includes an elected official's name opposing or supporting an action they take. Yes, we can do that. That's not nonpartisan. Okay, is that everything?
And I wanted to ask, that includes a candidate running for re-election. They're an official, but they're also a candidate.
Yeah, just make sure you doesn't appear to be supporting, saying, please vote for this person. And you're sort of taking on a specific issue. Yes, Larry?
Again, it's good to mention issue first
Yes,
and then talk about it.
this issue, this is the issue, such and such said this. So it's all fact-based. So that Susan doesn't get in trouble from you guys.
Thank you.
No harassing Susan about social media posts.
It's fun.
You can ask her a question in a nice in a nice way. It is fun. All right, so I'm just gonna go over, I'm just gonna mention some of the other things that we talked about, which is impact on issues. I'll let it, Larry. Yay, it's online at LWV US. Everything I said is online at LWV US except for the scenarios, which hopefully no English teachers are out there reading. The other one I was gonna do, which was really cool, you'll see it on there, was about creating community clinics that support women's health. So I just wanted to be clear on that too. Although, because that's where I get called the most and say, you're partisan because you support women's access to deciding their own decisions on women's health. And actually, that is our position. So I just don't want anybody to be confused by that. The political parties have changed their minds over time. Each candidate has a different answer. Our league has this answer. You personally will have your own answer. But that's an issue that we're also often called out on. Does anybody have any comments? Or do you want to say anything, Lori, before I close up what I'm going to say?
No.
I thought it was fun. Didn't you like? And you could read through some of the other scenarios. It's fun. I had fun creating this for you guys. Thank you so much.
Oh.